Moving on to our final topic of the show, a show where we've had some technical difficulties. Took us a little bit to get going. Appreciate you guys hanging in with us. If you really like what you saw on the show, make sure you give us a subscribe. Give us a like to the show. Make sure you come back every week to watch the clips and the cut-ups of the show. And give us a follow on Twitter because we've got a lot more coming for you. And I know next week's show is going to be amazing after the big game, after the NFL Super Bowl. But with our final topic, we're going to bring up another exciting topic, and that's the coming back of NCAA football. EA Sports announced yesterday that they're going to bring back the historic franchise of NCAA football. I know I was amped. I was extremely excited when I saw this tweet. I made sure I texted you and Ben and said, we have to do this on the show. And I think it's an amazing topic, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited about it.
No question. I remember when, back in the heyday, like 2005, 2006, NCAA football was great. I remember playing that, and I used to play that more than I played Madden. I mean, it was that good back then. I loved playing the option in the NCAA football where you don't really use that in Madden. And it was kind of a way also they didn't have the names on the back of the players' jerseys, but you kind of knew who was who, especially if you knew college football a little bit. And it was another way to kind of, see who guys were, because sometimes you'd play with certain players and you're like, why is this dude like a 95 rating on NCAA football? Then you go find out it's like Julio Jones or something like that. So, I think that's a fun part of it too. And then they show all the different stadiums when you're playing NCAA football. And I remember even the first time I played it, I was in college. I went to Northeastern University in Boston, right? And at the time, Northeastern had a Division I football team. So I remember playing with Northeastern on that game, and it was great. It was like playing with the school that I was at. I mean, it was just a very fun experience. I love NCAA football. I'm glad they're bringing it back.
Northeastern will not be in this year's game, obviously, because they canceled their football program, which is sad to me. That's another topic we could have on this show in the future, because that was real sad news for me. But yeah, they won't be in this year's game. And that's another story, is it actually won't be this year's game, because shortly after that, they came out with an announcement saying that it's going to take a few years, quote unquote, to develop the game to the point where they want to. And I get it. They're not going to just rip Madden and rip the protocols of Madden and just kind of cut and paste Madden. But I think they already do have a nice little cornerstone of the game, because in Madden you had the face of the franchise moment where you had to pick a quarterback and had him go through college at a couple of games there, and you got to play NCAA football. And I think that was the first point where you said this game might come back, because they had kind of sprinkled that into Madden, and it's good to see that it is coming back full time. But I'm just like, hey, EA, why is it going to take 2 years or a few years, in your words, to kind of put out a game that you have all the blueprints for? You just got to make a few adjustments, get them ready for this generation of consoles, and like, hey, put it out there. Your fans have been waiting for 7 years. We've all been waiting long enough, EA. It's now time. I know we were all excited when the news came down, but then you kind of rained on our parade a little bit when you told us it was going to be a few years. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what the next development announcement is going to be on the game. But I definitely think it's an exciting announcement. I'm glad to see it coming back. And I think, what's that guy's name there from UCLA there? The guy that ruined it for everybody.
I'm trying to think of who you're talking about.
The guy that ruined the O'Bannon brothers.
The O'Bannon brothers.
The O'Bannon brothers that ruined games for everybody because they wanted to be so greedy and get paid for their likeness. I get it, Ed O'Bannon, but you had to ruin the game for 7 years, ruin everybody's fun for 7 years. I hope you got some money, Ed O'Bannon. I hope you're doing good right now, Ed O'Bannon. Hey, Ed O'Bannon, subscribe to this show because I'll probably trash you a little bit more for trashing NCAA games. But yeah, I'm excited that the games are coming back, and I think a lot of other fans are too, and I think it's time. It's due. People were calling for it last year during the pandemic when everybody was sitting home, because the most exciting part of that game is developing your team, recruiting players, getting on the road and recruiting players, seeing if you can get that 5-star from Providence, Rhode Island to go to Navy or to go to URI. So that's one of the most exciting things. You know, I'm looking forward to starting a dynasty with Florida State. I've always said that's my team. So I'm looking forward to jumping in there. But yeah, exciting news for that game to be coming back.
Yeah, and I think it's going to help the interest of college football. You know, the last 10 years especially, I think we've been so hyper-focused on really either the SEC or Clemson. It's really been, whether it's Alabama, LSU, or Clemson, or, Ohio State, we'll sprinkle them in there as well. This might expand the appreciation for the other programs. This might expand, this might help get more attention back on the Pac-12. This might get more attention, back on the Big 12 down south. We'll see if Texas can finally get that program back to where they used to have it. And I think some things like this often drum up more interest in particular sports, especially with the younger generation. So that's going to be a lot of fun.